I just love that my soul decided to be alive now. The psychedelic renaissance. Dr. Stefanie Kleine of the Sacred House of Eden, a psychedelic retreat center in Colorado, is our next guest on Intimate Conversations. And I remember watching my dad misuse drugs to check out. I remember being the designated driver at whatever party I was at, because I was just so wanting to be safe, wanting to keep everybody else safe, and had a real negative, like, drugs. And all, like, Nancy Reagan's, don't do drugs. Like, it was this kind of when I grew up. And yet my path, 25 years ago, 23 years ago, I did ayahuasca for the first time. My first journeys began. And I realized there was a reverential, sacred use of psychedelics, which I'm going to call medicine, as opposed to pharmaceuticals, I'll call drugs, to check in, not check out, to become partners with the medicine, to get us out of our, dissociated, spinning self-hatred, the masks, and help us integrate what we didn't have the parents who did their best, of course, but didn't have the guides, the parents, to help us feel a feeling all the way through to 0 point. And this journey this podcast you're going to hear with Dr. Stefanie, her trauma occurred not through the abuse that I went through, but by the expectations of excellence and being the best and being the winner and nothing less than perfection. Which on the one hand, it sounds like, her parents were just helping her to be her best self. But the way we internalize this is fundamentally, I'm not enough. I'm never enough. If I'm not perfect, I can't be her. And how that makes us have our fake masks while under it all, we're falling apart. So I love this conversation because no matter where you're coming at it from, so many of us aren't in our bodies. And this reverential, sacred, legal use of psychedelics and medicine can help us get home. So grateful to meet this woman. Enjoy this podcast. Welcome to Intimate Conversations, Season 14, Dark Night to Divine Light, because we both know intimacy is an inside job. Hello and welcome back, delicious creatures, to another episode of Intimate Conversations. Here we are, Season 14, from Dark Night to Divine Light, with quite a divine goddess, new girlfriend of mine, Dr. Stefanie Kleine. She is a psycho-spiritual coach and guide, and the co-founder of the Sacred House of Eden, one of the top-rated psychedelic retreat centers in the country. And she's a doctor of psychology with more than 20 years of experience, and she's guided over 1,600 psychedelic ceremonies and integrations for people who look like they have it all together and yet are quietly exhausted from all the performing. She is also a writer and spoken word artist whose work draws on the same channel she's been receiving since childhood. Her latest book, Be the Work, The Shift from Human Doing to Human Being, is now available. And her work turns on one inversion. We spend our lives trying to do and have our way into being okay, when all along being is where it's always meant to start, especially in our relationships. And I would add our relationships with ourselves and with others. So I am so thrilled that you are here. Congratulations on your book. I can see it right behind you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And so we're chatting a little bit beforehand, getting some girl talk, getting some heart talk. So, and I also just wanted to start off, not a lot of people reach out to me ahead of time, Stefanie, to just sort of connect. I've done thousands of interviews. And so it was really rare and beautiful that you reached out. I think it was the night before last on Instagram DM and just said hi. And I really appreciate that special touch of intimacy before we begin. So thank you and welcome to the show. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for noticing that. I didn't realize that it was something rare. It felt very automatic for me. But I think part of that too is seeing how your energy feels so open and warm that it was like a no-brainer. I didn't even have to think twice about it. I was like, of course I'm
Oh,
going to reach out. And of course I'm not just going to write a message. Of course I'm going to leave a voice note for you. So
oh.
yeah, so thank you.
Wow, I'm already covered in head to toe shivers. So some good shit's coming down the pike here because we're tapped in and connected and it's really nice, I think, also to watch women honor each other and praise each other. It's a great skill. You know, we're going to get around to performing, and that comes from fear, and it creates competition between women and separation when it comes to intimacy. So I really love the work you do, and I'd like to start kind of at the beginning of your journey. I mean, 20 years experience as a doctor of psychology and one of the top rated retreat centers for psychedelic medicine in the country. So how the hell did that happen? And what's your story?
Yeah, yeah. So I've been coaching for 23 years. I've been a doctor for about 13. So I started coaching right after my master's.
Okay.
And then Eden, the Sacred House of Eden, was founded in 2018. So
Okay.
we've been doing that for it's almost 9 years actually. So
Yeah.
yeah. So how did it start? There's two there's two ways to approach that question because one is like, how did it start with the coaching? And then how did I move into psychedelics? So I think I'll start with me, which is kind
Okay.
of the foundation for, that gave birth to all the things. So I knew very early on in my education, although I was classically and clinically trained as a psychotherapist, I knew I wanted to be a coach. I I just resonated with the more solution focused, more present orientation as
Yeah.
opposed to the traditional therapy. Not to turn my nose up at traditional therapy. I've been in it. I have
Yeah.
benefited from it. I'm a big fan. It just wasn't where I wanted, like the seat I wanted to be in
Yeah.
for my own work.
Yeah.
So and also, coaching afforded me a lot more freedom to be a bit unorthodox in my approach, which
Yeah.
obviously lends itself very nicely to working with psychedelics later. Right.
Completely.
So, but yeah, I essentially, I grew up as a gold star junkie. I have been a performer my whole life. I am a recovered performer now, but I grew up training Olympically as a fast pitch softball pitcher from the age of 8. My
Wow.
dad was my coach. Yeah. And that's just a whole different way to grow up, right? A lot of pressure, a lot of celebration, a lot of recognition for what I could do and how well I could do it.
Yeah.
Right. I also skipped a couple grades in school. I was very academic. I won all the spelling bees and the reading competitions, and then went on and did my 2 years master's in 11 months and set the curve in my doctorate program. Anyway, you get the picture. I mean, just like chronic, like overachieving,
Overachiever. Yeah.
striving, winning, accomplishing.
Yes.
And it took me well into my 30s to realize what was actually the engine that was driving a lot of that,
Yeah.
which was a deep wound of not being seen, heard, met at the deepest, truest parts of me.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the case for, I now work with, and I have actually from almost the beginning of coaching, very high performers, like C-suite execs, founders, professional athletes, like lawyers, doctors, like top tier in all of their respective domains. And there's a common thread that was, the wound. I call it the wound behind the drive. And so for me, it was not being met, not being heard, not being understood. I was born into a family that loved me deeply, was very devoted, but they just didn't have the language to meet someone like me. I came into this life like deeply intuitive, incredibly sensitive, channeling from a very young age, even though of course I didn't know what that even meant at the time. And they just didn't get it. It wasn't their way. Not any fault to them. But it did leave me feeling incredibly alone.
Yeah.
Right. And so my bridge to that gap became achieving. If I wasn't going to be seen for who I was, then I was going to make darn sure that I got as close to that as possible. And I learned like my currency was achieving.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious if that is because that's par for the course. Me as well, overachiever, and the wound for me was safety. If I did not outrun you, outsmart you, be 3 steps ahead of you, I could get hurt bad. So that was and then the people pleaser, fake smile. As long as I could run fast enough, you couldn't catch me and hurt me. But my wound was very level 4 trauma, like in my body. Like I wasn't even in my body. If you asked me, I would totally say I was. I was a freaking dancer. I mean, a model. But right. No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. My performative nature was based on survival and safety. And it wasn't until psychedelics came into my life that I had a path that worked and a specific use of psychedelics and specific psychedelics, like that was very, very specific of how I got back into my body again. So I'm curious when the segue of psychedelics came in for you.
Yep. So psychedelics became a part of my world about 10 years ago when I moved from California to Colorado. And it was from the beginning an incredibly synchronistic experience. I grew up, as an 80s kid, Nancy Reagan, just say no, right? Like top athlete, top academic, had never touched anything, took tremendous pride in being that way.
Right.
And was invited to a ceremony by my best guy friend in California. Had moved to Colorado like a year before I did. I didn't know that. We had lost touch for a little while. When I was in Colorado, I just reached out to him, not knowing he was here. And I just said, "Hey, how have you been? I miss you." And he said, "Where are you?" I said, "Colorado." And he said, "Well, I'm in Colorado." And I said, "Where?" And he told me the town he was in. And I said, "That's where I am."
No way.
Yeah. And he came over within an hour, and he brought his partner with him. Turns out she was leading medicine ceremonies deep underground.
Yeah.
This is 10 years ago, right? A lot has changed in that space for sure over the last decade.
Yeah.
And he invited me. They invited me. She and I hit it off right away. And I had known him for like 15 years. So I trusted him, but I was terrified.
Sure.
Oh my gosh. I mean, when I showed up, I was like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? Should I stay? Because it's not like I'd flown on a plane to go somewhere far. I was, 10 minutes from where I lived. So I easily could have left. And there was something in me, even though a lot of me was saying no, there was something deeper in me that was saying yes. Like you're supposed to be here. Mm-hmm. And being probably the most unlikely person in that room, I ultimately said yes. And I was surrounded by very intelligent, very accomplished people. There were probably 12 of us. And everybody stated, why they were there, what their intention was. And there was a lot of trauma, a lot of very painful histories.
Yeah.
And that wasn't something that I wasn't used to hearing, given my work. I'd already been, coaching for, I think, like 13, 14 years at the time. But I didn't know if I necessarily belonged in that room. Right? Like I came from a very loving family and almost like an idyllic childhood. And I was like, am I in the wrong room? Like, do I even deserve to be here? What I would find out very quickly was what the medicine wanted me to see, needed me to see, which was that none of us get out of here unscathed. right?
Yeah.
We all have our hurts. And for me, it was revealed in short order that mine was what I started talking about today, which is not being met in the deepest, truest parts of me,
Yeah.
and all the armor that I had built around myself as a result of that, and all the ways I was trying to prove, to be perfect, and to all in the hopes to be seen, really.
Yeah. If I could just
Yeah.
be perfect enough, achieve enough, accomplish enough, look good enough, all the things enough, then maybe you'll
Yeah.
see me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And we all know that that's actually antithetical. Like, that is not how any of that works, because then the only person that's seen is the performer. And so then it actually leaves the disparity. Like, that disparity makes the wound ache even more. It's even more
Correct.
lonely. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, but it was transformative. And the medicine, I always say this, the medicine works like a flashlight. It illuminates what is there and is needing healing, but it doesn't do the work for you,
Yeah.
right? And that is why integration, for me, integration is everything.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
it's what
put
we
a
built
pin.
Eden around. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I'll just put a pin in that and then I want you to keep going.
Yeah.
Um, my point of view, and I'm glad we agree on this, is it's not a fix. It's not meant to bypass. It's not meant to have some sort of high and override what's actually going on inside, although I think it can be mistakenly used for that. And so I love that you speak of integration, because to me, it's a tool to shine a light on what's really going on. And now it's time to sit in it, feel it, integrate it, learn from it. And that's when a guide is so important, to hold space, to be seen, not in all the perfect parts of all your achievements, but to be seen in your wobbly, probably, and in your insecure. And I remember, I'll share one thing and then please keep talking. One of my recent sessions with one of my coaches, I've always had, as soon as I started to be a coach 22 years ago, I vowed I would always have coaches, because I could never see my own blind spots. So I have lots of coaches that see my blind spots all the time. And one of them, I was saying, you know what? I'm just so afraid that if God, the divine source, really sees me, it's going to know that I mess up. I'm a hot mess from time to time. I'm going to probably let them down. I'm not perfect. And can the divine still love me? And it was like a visceral feeling of like contraction in my body. Like, if I really let all of this out and you reject me, I don't want to be here. It's just too much. And in that process, there was no medicine in that process, just a facilitation session or coaching session. I just let my most ugly parts be seen with one little eye open. And I'm like, oh, you're still there. Really? Well, that must mean the way you value me is, I've got to upgrade the way I value me to the way you value me, divine. You value all of me. And I can say it all day long as a cognitive
That's right.
analysis or a nice
Yeah,
bumper sticker, but until you embody it, life doesn't change. So yeah, tell us, after that first journey, what then led to the Sacred House of Eden and the gifts you have to give people.
That's beautiful what you said, and I echo so much. It's like, if God can, spirit source people, but it doesn't matter what name. I talk about this in my book. It doesn't matter what name you give it. Like, we're ultimately talking about unconditional love, right?
Yeah.
If that source can choose to unconditionally love you, and you're crafted from that source, like, I feel like to choose anything other than to truly love you, you're almost, this might sound abrasive or harsh, but it's almost like a slap in the face
No,
to
I'm
our
in agreement.
creator.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's arrogant. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I just got chills. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
It's
And
our ego, not our soul point of view. And it's a developmental stage, and that's okay. And keep going until the humility shows up. Yeah.
so after that first ceremony, we became like we called it like our journey family. And we would come together every month for ceremony and work with different medicines. And it didn't take me very long to kind of organically move into a role within the family, given just who my nature is, and and my training, my education. And so one of the things that was very light, I'll say, in that space, and I think is also the case in a lot of spaces still, was integration. And so we would have our ceremony at night, we'd spend the night, and then the next morning we would sit in a circle and we would talk, but there was no real structure. There certainly wasn't anyone like at the helm with like any training or psychological background or anything. It was just a very loving, safe space, mostly safe space, not necessarily psychologically safe for the reason that I'm talking about. So because I'm me, I kind of moved into that role of integrating. Like, I was asking the deeper questions, I was holding space for people. And although we would have a ceremony every month, I'm super sensitive. I've always been that way. And the veil between ordinary and expanded state is so thin for me. So I would say in a year's time, let's say 12 ceremonies, I maybe worked with medicine 5 or 6 times. The rest of the time I was completely sober, but was able to drop immediately into the field just by being in the room with the people and being in, I think, close proximity to the medicine. And so I saw how what I believe was that integration was missing, and it was everything. And I saw all of the amazing things that were possible when we work with the medicine. And then I saw opportunities to make it exponentially better. Mm. And that's really what gave birth to Eden. And then, of course, I met Doug, who was my partner for many years in life and in co-founding Eden. And we created this beautiful container that had safety to kind of go back to you where you started. Safety was number one. Physically safe, right? Are you safe to even be there? We screen everybody that comes through our doors. We maybe accept 25 or 30 people, like with the green light, like that. Yes, this is a fit. This is safe, right? So physically safe, psychologically safe, like the medicine is safe, like our source has been the same from the beginning. And the whole space is curated and everything done with so much deep intention. Our team is we only bring people on this side that have sat through retreat with us so that they truly know what this work is and the way that we do it. And so that they can really be there for those who come through our doors. But yeah, safety being everything. And then we really built all of it around integration, with the medicine, like you said, being a tool that ultimately brings you to integration. Yeah. That's the gift. And I feel like using the medicine for anything other than that cheapens it and really misses the whole memo.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in agreement that it cheapens it. You miss the whole opportunity for evolution and ascension. And I've found, and I don't know if this is true because it's not how you run your business, but maybe in the community, this idea that the way I've studied and the way I've seen is, like, let's say the body is holding the trauma. Then on top of whatever the wound is in the body is your shtick. It's your performance, it's your ego, it's your identity. It's this scaffolding to try to protect you from the pain of that wound, right? But it's not you. It's a ego identity. It's a structure. Mm-hmm. And as if we don't use the medicine to soften, dissolve ego death after ego death and drop into the wound and integrate it in the body, that there's no space. I can't prove this, but this is sort of how I see it in my mind's eye, for the soul that you are, the light that you are, your soul blueprint, to come actually into your body for soul embodiment, because you bump up against the ego, can't get in. You bump up against the wound, can't get in. And so the only way to have access to this kind of oneness that you get when you use some medicines is you have to leave the body. You have to leave the body. And so I've watched so many people over the decades use medicine to leave the body, have an incredible cosmic experience with the oneness that they are, accurate, but they can't bring it back down into their lived experience because they bump into that ego identity and they bump into the unintegrated wound, and then they become really spiritually arrogant.
Oh my God.
They know it all, but they're doing really stupid shit or illegal shit or just shit. Okay. And so I love the use that I've studied about, and what I've gone through and what I take my clients, guide my clients through, which is slowly but surely, not in one fell swoop, because I think you probably have a nervous breakdown, but little bit by little bit, that identity starts to crack and melt and dissolve, and the wound integrates, and the body becomes this divine vessel in which the soul can come in. And then people just start talking like Buddha. They just know things, but then it sticks and they live it. They live it in their relationships with themselves. They treat their body like a divine temple. They're the embodiment of patience and compassion. Like, they're different. So tell me your experience about what I just said and how the sacred house of Eden is.
Interesting that you say to leave the body. And I don't know that I've necessarily ever phrased it that way, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And dissolve is a word that I've personally experienced, and then I've witnessed, countless times in others. And I agree. Like, I feel like we all have our early kind of like our core wound. And then from there, we build, like you said, the scaffolding. We build these layers, I call them control patterns or strategies, to then protect us from experiencing that wound again, right? Like, kind of, if you cut your arm open in the woods, like, you want to put something over top of it so you don't keep bumping it, right?
Yeah.
Same with like what we do internally. We have that wound, and then we put these control patterns, strategies over top of it to protect ourselves. But then the thing is that we then start operating from that level, thinking that's who we are.
Right.
And we're not those. And
Yes.
we're also not our wound. We are the being underneath that.
Yeah.
Right. And so the work is, in my experience, personally and as a guide, the work is untangling all of those strategies and patterns that we've employed to keep us safe, so that we can then, so that's the dissolving, right? So we can then get to the wound, bring love, compassion, curiosity to the wound so it can heal, so that we can then actually live from who we truly are. Like, that is the architecture for me of what healing is, which is a very far cry from what I see a lot in the wellness space, which is coping.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a whole chapter in this book about the difference between coping and healing.
Yes.
And right. If you see, I crossed out the vernacular in our spaces, do the work, do the work, do the work. And I literally like crossed it out on a piece of paper. That's how it became the cover. I was like, be the work. We are human beings, not human doings. Like, and everybody seems to be very interested in the next protocol, the next framework, the next ceremony, even, right? And I say that as a person who leads them. But after the next thing, where we've now turned our wellness into like the next thing to perform.
Totally.
Right?
And more outside in versus inside out. Yeah.
Totally. Yes. And I will even go another layer to that. Yes, absolutely. So it's like we're chasing, and the next thing out here, the next thing out here, the next thing out here. And it's like, whoa, like that is just the same exact thing in a different costume. right? Than on
Totally.
clothing.
100%.
It's the
Yep.
same stuff. And so I see, I mean, I know you're seeing it too, because you're in, you're in the wellness space, and it's all about coping. That's why you need the next thing, because the actual thing isn't being there's no healing.
Oh, fist pump. Yes. 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 Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I would also say, like that next layer to your point, it's not only don't go looking for, like, it's not just don't put your attention outside and that it's an inside job, which it is, but also there's not anything in here that we need to be chasing either. It's already who you are. It's
Yeah.
already who you are. And that was my big aha release, rebirth that made itself very evident in my very first ceremony. Like I
Yeah.
connected to, like, I was 5 or 6 years old. And do you want me to share that a little bit
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So I went back to a very young version of myself. I was maybe 5 or 6 years old, and I was running around in there's outdoor shopping plaza in California, and I was jumping from, like, I don't even know what they're called, but they're like these little small podium things they have outside of plazas, and I was jumping from one to the next. And I was so free and so happy and so full of wonder. There was no, like, imaginary audience. There was nobody that I needed to perform for. There was nothing I needed to get right. There was nothing I didn't need to earn my worth in any way. I just already was.
Yes.
I already was. And I let myself stay. Let myself stay with her. And it was tremendously powerful. And if we have time later, I might read something that I wrote around that experience. I had caught glimpses of her throughout my life at different times, but this was the first time I really let myself stay with her. And what I came to realize is that you come into this life already enough, right? You're already whole. And in that way, there's no measures, there's no scales, there's no trying to be anything other than what you are. There's not even this notion of, am I enough? That didn't even exist. It was like, you just are.
Yeah.
And so connecting and staying with that energy that didn't end, when the medicine ended. Like, that is something that I have carried with me since. And I now allow her energy to fill my body and to inform a lot of the choices I make in my life, as opposed to from those other layers, right? Those other strategies of, whether it's the performer or the people pleaser, right? We all have different ones. I let that young one, right, inform a lot of the choices that I make. And it's a beautiful collaboration now.
I like
Right?
that collaboration. Yeah. I love what you're saying. Tell me of this point of view. And again, the more I learn I don't know. So I would say my point of view has been pretty much spot on, aligned with yours. Most of my evolution, because when I found my little one, so innocent, so whole, so pure, so powerful, so unattached, so all these things that would be really fun to have now as an adult. But when I was back with her in one of my journeys, she said, but that's not the point of life. The point of life is not to be born whole, live whole, die whole. Well, that's fucking boring. What's the fucking point of that? We're here to evolve. We're here to grow. We're here to transmute. We're here to have, like, there's a wisdom that's different than innocence. that only comes from integration of knowing and maybe still having a thread of a through line of that innocence of the little one. But I don't want to be her. I want to be 56-year-old Allana who's learned how to forgive the unforgivable, who's been betrayed, but has got back to unconditional love, who was so ashamed of myself, but now feels unapologetic, who's still insecure and wobbly from time to time and need a hug. Like I want to embrace we could call it my darkness as much as my light. Mm-hmm. We could call it my evolutionary, my unconsciousness to bring into more consciousness. Like I don't think there's a end game. I don't think I'll finally get there and I'll finally be good enough. And it's true that we're already whole, but I feel that's more like in spirit land. Like if on a planet, why on earth would I come to just do nothing but just be happy all the time? Which is, I guess maybe a lot of people would say, that sounds great. Yes, but I got to say some of the most extraordinary moments in my life were opening my heart in the face of pain. Like we're actually filming this on the anniversary of my mom's death 24 years ago. And I remember the moment I had earplugs in because she would stop breathing and I couldn't sleep. And I was sleeping right beside her in the hospital and they were saying something to me and I was like, what? And I took my earplugs out and they were kind of yelling loud, she's dead. And I was like, whoa. And then can we, sign this for her organs? You're out. You got to be out by noon. And I was like, this is my moment. This is my moment. And wow. I remember looking at her, Stefanie, and she wasn't there. I know the difference between somebody alive who's sleeping and somebody who's dead and not there. She wasn't there. And it was so excruciating. And I just said, okay, here's my moment. Open in the face of anything. Open. The pureness of this little one that you speak of, who knows she's eternal, open. Yeah. And in a moment, she was everywhere. And that evolved my soul more than the innocent little one before all the abuse happened. So it's like a combination. I like why you said collaboration, because it's a combination of the soul level of development I came into the world with, but through pain, I am more, thus consciousness is more, thus humanity is more. Not more better than, just more ascended, rich. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts on what I just shared?
I mean, so I have chills again. So thank you for that. And thank you for sharing about your mom. And that's really powerful. I would agree that we're not just here to be happy all the time. That's not what it's about. And interestingly, I think that's what a lot of people think that they're chasing.
Yeah, well said.
For me, my belief is that it's about fulfillment.
Versus success. Yeah.
Versus even happiness.
Right.
Right? There's a difference between being happy and being fulfilled. And I think that you hit the mark with it really is integrating the dark and the light. To me, that is the equation for fulfillment. If we can meet the darkness with our light, that is what allows the integration, which then allows the expansiveness, which then brings fulfillment, living a full life. I think if we're myopic and we're just interested in happy, we miss a lot. We miss a lot of gifts, because I will tell you that my greatest gift, my offering to the people I work with, comes straight out of my wound.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's only because I have met all the parts of me. I'm sure there's more, but many parts of me.
Yeah.
And integrated and continue to integrate. I'm not here to say I have it all figured out at all. And I would tell anyone not to trust someone who says that, right?
Correct.
But it's in the integrating of all the parts and being able to sit with them that you can then show up as a full human and meet other people in their wobbly.
Yeah. And not judge them or disconnect or fix, but literally lean in and say, tell me more.
Absolutely.
And be seen the way you weren't seen, but now you can see others that way. Give the gift you never got. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what happened for me is like because I was not seen or met, I became masterful at being the person who could do that for others.
Yeah. Me too with safety. Yeah.
Yeah.
I provide safety for others. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of feel
Yeah.
it's like a hollow rod or reed where it's like what I was seeking all along. Like, are you going to keep me safe? Are you going to keep me safe? But as soon as I became safety for others, the ego was like, what? We're not, we don't want to, how can we give what we've been seeking? But we become this hollow rod where the divine comes in as and through us, and we get the fulfillment of that element or that essence in us while simultaneously giving it to others. It's counterintuitive, but it's, yeah, devotion to the work.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's fulfilling in two ways, being able to show up that way to really hold other people, right? There's just so much. I mean, when I really sit with how big this work is, right? It's so much bigger than me. When I sit with it, I mean, I've been brought to my knees, right? It's so humbling and so powerful and so big.
Yeah.
And so there's such richness there, and also learning to be that person for myself, to be my own safety, to
Yes.
be
Yes.
to meet myself in the way I was wanting others to meet me. Like they
Yes.
can't actually meet you, Stefanie, if it really met you fully yet yourself.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. That's why the front page of my website, become the one to find the one and awaken the one. And the one we're finding is this one. The one we're looking at in the mirror. The one we're awakening is this one. And then
Exactly.
and then you can give that, always perfectly imperfect, but give your best self to those you love. Yeah.
And to yourself even first.
Well, you have to. That's the whole thing. You
Yeah.
can't give it to others
It's the
until you
only
first
way.
become the one and give it to
That's
yourself.
right. I love that. Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Well, I want people to know that the Sacred House of Eden, all of this is in the show notes.com/the-book. This will be in the show notes, is how you can get a copy the work. There's also a follow-up 30-day course that you can find at the website as well, the Sacred House of Eden, sacredhouseofeden.com. If you're interested in a day journey, a year-long program, anywhere in between with this magnificent woman. And so I know you, what would you like to do? Would you like to read your spoken word? Do you think that would be a nice way for us to complete our conversation today? Are you in the mood? Are you up for it?
I can. I can. Yeah. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, well, you mentioned it earlier, and I don't want to leave
Yeah.
the listeners and viewers up with a cliffhanger. What was she talking about? So we're going back to when you spoke of your little one, who you met in your very first journey, who stayed with you ever since. And so, yeah, please take it away.
Yep, I will do that. And one other thing I just wanted to add is that I did make a gift for your listeners, which is a short meditation. It's like I think it's about 10 minutes long, and it's all about just what we've been talking about, like really just coming home to yourself underneath all of the doing and that felt sense that we're talking about. And so, yeah, and I'll send you that link so that you can pass that along to.
All of this will be in the show notes. Her gift, her book, her course, the site, all the things.
All the things.
This generous woman. So from your heart to our heart. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to share, I actually have not shared publicly before. So this will be the first time. I've been writing my whole life. Yeah, I've been writing my whole life. My first book was poetry. My second book was actually a dating memoir, which we'll have to have another conversation about. Very funny.
Oh my God, we'll have to do part 2 with a glass of wine. This sounds amazing.
Yeah, we might need to. It's called Some Mistakes Are Great Kissers. So to give you a flavor, it's just funny.
Fantastic.
Funny. And then of course this one, the third one. So I've been writing forever, but I have not shared this one yet. So this will be the first time.
Deeply honored for your vulnerability and the giving of your gift. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So this is called the melting. A lot of people talk about how their first experience with medicine or any sort of breakthrough, like they almost feel like they crack wide open. And that's not what happened for me. For me, it was much more like what you mentioned, use the word dissolving. That really lands for me. So this is the melting. For years, I was made of armor, the performer, the achiever, the one who had it all handled. I wore it so long, I forgot it wasn't my skin. I mistook the armor for me. Then, the medicine. And I didn't break open, I melted. The striving melted, the proving melted, the grip I had held my whole life, the fist I never knew I was even clenching, just opened. And the truth was there. I could feel it in my bones, my soft, melting bones. Still there. It had always been there, waiting, the way light waits behind a closed eye. And the whole illusion went quiet. Not just my performance, but all of it. Every one of us in costume, reciting our lines, mistaking the role for the soul. And underneath all of it, there was someone, not the one who achieved, the one who simply breathes. And it wasn't that she was finally enough. It was that enough never even existed. There was no scale. There had never been a scale. Only her, only this, only love. And I had felt her before in flashes, but this was the first time I allowed myself to stay. Stay in the feeling, stay in the returning. It was home. It was me. It was truth that I was born knowing and spent a lifetime forgetting. That melting was the beginning, the slow, sacred shedding of an armor I had mistaken for skin, and the relentless churning of doing, quieting at last into a life that could simply be. The sun was setting just outside the window when I came home to myself, and I have spent every day since helping other people find their way back home too.
I just want to jump through Zoom and give you a hug. That was so beautiful, Stefanie. Thank you for the way you have such an artistry with words, able to put into words a very felt experience in our body. Yeah, I really, really appreciate this. So, two things, listeners and viewers. When you finish watching or listening, my invitation is not to go right back to social media or doing, but to go by a window where that sun is setting, or to go outside, put your feet on the grass, or simply to lay down, put your hand on your heart, your hand on your belly, and feel what that spoken word woke up in you, how it moved you, how it touched you. Some part of this conversation where we've been sharing each of our unique journeys. Why was it absolutely divinely orchestrated that you listen to this right now? Let it have its way with you. Let it open you. Let it take an action. One of which is, please go to thesacredhouseofeden.com for her book or the course. There's actually a code. You can use my name even for 15% off. She's so very generous. And we'll put the code or the meditation as well. So those are some actions I want you to take, please. And I imagine there's an action. It's time to forgive myself here. It's time to maybe book a medicine journey. It's time for me to have that conversation I've been avoiding. It's time to stop judging myself in the mirror. Whatever it is, I bet you there's something else very personal that this conversation awoke within you. My invitation is, please honor that. Please honor that. That's why we showed up today, because we don't know you, but we already love you. And we are so glad that you showed up for another episode, year 14 of Intimate Conversations with the amazing Dr. Stefanie Kleine. And so your last words, sister, as we complete this conversation from your heart to theirs.
My heart to your heart first. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being this beautiful, clearly divinely inspired woman who shows up the way that you do, the way you showed up today for me, and the way you show up for, I'm sure, thousands and thousands of people. So thank you for that. And staying with it 14 years is a very long time. I'm impressed. And yeah, for those that are listening, I would echo everything that you've already offered. And then also one other offering is maybe to just do nothing, just for a minute. Just allow yourself to just stop just for a moment. It's in the quietness that we find our truth.
Oh, it's so beautiful. If it wasn't massively raining outside, I think I would go sit outside on the grass and just be before my last 2 calls of the day. Very wise words. Thank you, sister. And thank you, all of us, for being with us on Intimate Conversations. Thank you for going deeper into this intimate world. I love you. See you next week on Intimate Conversations. Get out there and make love to life. I love Dr. Stefanie's book title, Be the Work, not do the work. We're always told to do more work, but that's really her wound, is that she always had to be better, be the best, win this, win that. So I love that she's created her offering with this book and with the psychedelic journey she supports with so many people over the decades, to be the embodiment of the work. You still need to do the work, but the point is not to keep doing. It's to be it. And I also believe we never get there. Like, yes, there are many destinations along the path, and there's many wins along the path, many accomplishments and achievements. And yet the through line is, who are we being? Are we being more authentic, more grounded? Are we able to take off the masks and be more transparent and vulnerable? Are we able to connect with ourselves and stay connected when we're connecting intimately with another? So I love the title of her book. So please follow up with her. Get the book. Also, The Sacred House of Eden. If you're resonating with her to potentially guide you through a journey, if you align with this high achieving, got to keep the mask on, but inside you're not feeling whole enough, peaceful, please contact her. She has a lot of experience. I work a little differently. I don't do like a one-off journey or a one-off weekend. What's worked for me and my clients is a year container. I really believe the medicine is conscious, and that when we tell it, hey, we've got a year, we do the first part and then we integrate. We do the second journey and then we integrate, and then the third and then we integrate. So I like to do private sessions the whole year long. There's group sessions with the incredible Family of Frequency clients. And then there's these immersion weekends that I guide and support. And there's something magnificent with an impeccable container. But what goes on within the year is fluid. It's at your pace. It's what your body's ready for. All the different things that change in someone's life when you take this journey. There's going to be tough conversations. There's going to be looking authentically. Is this relationship aligned? Is this job congruent with my soul? Is my expression from the boardroom to the bedroom a true expression of my soul's essence? This is big work. This is work that changes the trajectory of your entire life. So I like to have this container. I mean, it takes 9 months to friggin' make a baby. Let's give it 12 to create this next phase of your existence. And it is such a privilege and honor to hold space for that. So in the show notes, there's an intimacy breakthrough experience call with me and a scholarship code for being an Intimate Conversations listener or viewer ready now. So you can get in my calendar and we can talk about, wow, you've done so many things and you've moved the needle a lot. And if you really went inside, you're not free. You're not free to fully express who you are. You're not able to experience the pleasure of being alive. You're still either attached to a result or resisting something. You're not here. And this is your birthright. This ability, as Stefanie says with the title of her book, Be the Work. When you be you, when you be transparent and authentic, when you be connected to yourself and never reject yourself, even if you get rejected from others, this embodiment is the most empowering, liberating expression of who we are. And I believe it's our birthright. And while I have some things I'm not as good at, technology, taxes, cooking, getting better at cooking, facilitating these journeys is literally my genius. It's what all my 20 years of work up till now has led to be that unwavering, I will never let you fall, and I will be the patience of eternity. Both of those energies holding you on your journeys. It is so fulfilling and rewarding to watch you soar. So I look forward to seeing you in my calendar. I look forward to you checking out Dr. Stefanie, her book, and her center. And thank you again for going deeper every single week here on Intimate Conversations. I love you.